Emily here from fairairmusic.com. Today I've got something really special to share with you. I've just released my template in Logic Pro. So for all of you Logic Pro users out there, you now have this amazing template. I've adapted every one of my parallels, groups, processing, all has been adapted to work perfectly with Logic Pro. You get the pre-calibrated drum and vocal buses, all of my special parallel compression tracks, as well as the amazing parallel vocal processing that I love to use. It works on any style, any genre of vocal, makes your lead vocals sound a million times better. And something special that I added on this one is audio tracks. I've got plenty of audio tracks for you to get started in recording, or if you're just mixing, this is very simple to just drop and drag your audio tracks onto these placeholders, all ready for you to start mixing. So let's just have a quick peek inside of this template. Now, once you download this template, I will include a PDF form to kind of explain the routing. It's not complicated, it's very simple, just something for you to reference back to, as well as a little bit more in-depth video to show you how I calibrate these parallel compression tracks. It's very important, but it's very simple. Once you get the hang of it, you can do this in any DAW. So let's take a quick look inside right now. Now, this was a song that I already had, and I just dropped the audio tracks on all of these tracks that I included with the template, which you can do yourself, or this will be empty once you open it up, and so you can just start recording however you want to. You can relabel these, they keep it real simple with Logic Pro, and if you need something to be stereo, then of course you'll just change this little switch right here. But I think I've got pretty much everything going on. I've got things for percussions, drums. We've got quite a few bass things going on, and of course some synth tracks if you just wanted to have your bass synth put on there. You've got options, got quite a few guitars if you wanted to break those into parts like this song was. And these are all just gang vocals, chorus vocals. These were just added on top. Those aren't necessarily going to be included, but you could change any of the audio tracks to suit your song's needs. The magic of this template is down here though. So from here all the way down to your stereo out is the kind of central nervous system of this template. This is where the magic happens. This is where you have all of your parallel processing tracks, and from drum bus to the vocal bus, these are pre-calibrated for you. What that means is I have already taken a signal generator and put that through each of these parallels, and what I wanted was to get a certain amount of compression with these settings. So I've sent a signal generator to make sure that that level is where we're at, and I'm adding back in 1 dB of overall gain. And the way that I check that is that I have a VU meter here on the stereo out. And so when I'm adding back on my return send, because I'm using these parallels as a return, I'm getting 1 dB of gain back into the overall mix from that compression track. Same thing with the drum crush. I'm using the Fatso for that one. And if you don't have any of these plugins, that's okay. I will include a couple of things in the PDF that you can try out to replace these. I've got one that's a Waves product and also a Kit plugin product. So moving on to the last one here. Now the same thing with the music bus is going to be the same thing with the drum bus. And I'll show you what all is being sent to these in just a second. But the vocal bus down here is our last parallel. And I've got the newer, the 1176AE. This is just to thicken up a little bit on the lead vocal. I think it sounds great. This one's adding back in 2 dBs of overall gain back into your mix. The other ones next to that, I've just got the Opticon here. I really like the way that that works with my drums. If I need to kind of trash that out a little bit, this sounds great. It doesn't make it sound too washy when you add that back in. And that's just, for taste, blend in however much you think is going to be beneficial. And we've also got a parallel bass compression here where I've just decided to stick the Puig Child on there. I know a lot of people might not have a lot of UAD plugins, so anywhere where I think I can get away with not using one, then I'll stick it on there. But again, if you don't have any of these plugins, feel free to replace them with something that you do have. We can all make this work with what we have. That's the beauty with this template. The magic is really in the technique of how this is all set up. And of course, I have my preferences on what plugins I think sounds the best and that I can use every single time. But again, we're going to work with what we have. And then eventually maybe we'll work our way up to getting some of those more premium plugins. And then the rest we have out here is just our effects. I have an I chamber, which is instrument chamber. I've got pretty much everything being sent to that. We'll get to that in just a second. And then all of my other effects. We've got a mono verb here. I think it's really important to have one of those up just in case. And then some different types of verbs, hall, chamber, and our delays with tape and slap. I felt like that was a good number to use without overloading anything. We've got, I'm sending my vocals to those, I'm sending my background vocals to that, and I'm sending all of my instruments to the I chamber. So where a lot of that routing comes into place, we'll start back down here with the drums. And this is where you can refer back to that PDF file. I will have all of this listed. But for your tracks, your drums, all of the drums will be sent in pre-fader to the drum bus, and that is what bus 1 is here. You'll be able to see all of these. I've got the drum bus there, drum crush. All the first 4 are going to be those main pre-calibrated parallels, and so I'm sending those pre-fader, and we're just going to send however much that we can get our just under about 3 to 4 dBs, about 3 I would say, of dB's worth of compression is what we're aiming for. So all the drums go to the drum bus. So I've left one blank here to show you how that'll work. We'll just go up to bus here, drum bus, and I want to make that pre-fader. And I'm just turning these things up. Like I'm just turning them up so that we can reference back down to our 33609 and make sure we're getting about 3, maybe a little bit between 3 and 4 dBs worth of compression. I think that sounds the best with those settings. Now the next one is going to the drum crush. Bus 2 here is going to the drum crush. And the only ones that I want to send to that one are the shells, your kicks, your snares, toms, things like that. I don't want to send the overheads, hi-hats, room mics, anything like that, because I'm just trying to get a little bit more beef out of the actual shells of the drum kit. And so again, we'll send that to our drum crush. I want that to be pre-fader. I'll turn that up a little bit too. And just kind of, go back and forth and see however much you need to add back in. So that's how you set up the drum parallels. The rest of the parallels, I find that it's just better to put those on the overall groups. But there you go. You finally have a Logic template to use. I love this style of template. To me, it's very foundational. It's got great techniques in it. This isn't any, tricks or hacks or anything like that. Like this is really how professionals mix. If they had a console, a real, API, SSL console, these are some techniques that would be used, how you would send certain things in parallel and how you would process them. So if you would like to pick up this Logic Pro template, get your mixes sounding 100 times better in half the time, click on the link in the description box. It'll take you straight to this brand new template where you'll be able to download that and the PDF and a little video that's showing you how I am able to pre-calibrate these parallel processing tracks in case you want to incorporate that in another DAW, or if you want to just see how that all comes together. If you accidentally move one of the faders, you'll know how to get back to that sweet spot. Again, to download the new Logic Pro template, just hit the link in the description. It'll lead you straight there so you can download that and all the goodies and have a look around. I've got a lot of free material, a lot of free downloads for you to help you get started in recording, mixing, mastering. I've got things on EQ and compression basics, all kinds of free gifts on there. And if you have anything else that you'd like to add or ask, just go ahead and leave me a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. All right, y'all. Thanks so much for watching. We'll talk soon.